Here I am inside my Geology 12 class, and what we're going to do today is add or create a quiz assignment. So this is essentially a multiple choice type quiz. There's much more than just multiple choice, but we'll just start by looking at those options. So what we'll do is just quickly have a look at some of the selections that we have down here. Set your points. You can change that or update that point value later if you like. I'll leave it at 10 for now. We can pick a due date. Again, that's something we can change later. We can assign it to a topic. Earthquakes, minerals, etc. And then there's originality reports. That's to check for plagiarism. Probably not something we're going to need associated with a quiz. So I'll leave that blank for now. Okay, I just clicked on blank quiz, and that actually opens up the quiz itself. And this looks a whole lot like a Google form. That's because that's what it is. And we can do some neat things with this, but let's just create a quick quiz. We can put a description down here as well if we like. And now as soon as I click on untitled question, note what happens. Things kind of come to life. So the first question will be, we've got an option here. We'll make that our yes option. And as soon as I click on this, it adds another. And we can just keep adding them if we like. We can have as many as you'd like to have. Now, we need to also create an answer key. And to do that, it's probably easiest to do that for each question. So I'll just click on answer key. And now we'll say yes. And as soon as we go back to edit question, it takes us back to this point here once again. Notice the check mark. It means that we've actually set this thing up to answer the question. I'm going to make that required as well too. We'll probably make all quiz questions required. That way a student doesn't miss any of them. So next thing to do is add another one in. Very simple to do. Click the add question button. Now that's interesting. It's changed to short answer, which is perfectly fine if you want to use that. We can go check boxes. We can go drop down. Let's go drop down. Click on add option. All right, let's get rid of this one. We don't want to get politics involved in this. And once again, we're going to want to go to answer key. We'll select Dominion Avenue, back to edit question. And we've got two questions in there already. Let's add one more quickly here. Instead of a multiple choice, we'll do check boxes. Okay, and yet again, we've got to go answer key. Obviously, this class is going to be the right one. Now, you can select. The nice thing is you can have more than one selected. Actually, let's just select all three, just so there's no arguments with other departments. And we'll go back to edit question, and we are good to go. Okay, at this point, we've got our test pretty much sorted out. We're ready to go. And so the really neat thing is it says all changes saved in Drive. You might think you want to hit send, but you don't want to do that because it's already linked actually through our classroom. Just before we go back though, what I'm going to do is go back or go into settings and just talk about some of the settings in here. Collect email addresses. Yeah, sure, if you want to, why not? It's up to you. Restrict to users in Archbishop Carney Regional Second. Yes, probably. So you'd want to do that for whichever school you're in. Limit to one response. Yep. Required to sign into Google. That makes sense. Respondents can edit after. No, we don't want that. See summary charts. Probably not. Presentation. Now quizzes. We probably want to, yes, make this a quiz. There we go. Locked mode on Chromebooks. I wouldn't turn that on. We talked about that already briefly. Release marks immediately after each submission. That's fine. If up to you again though, later after manual review if you like. Now this is an interesting one. Respondents can see missed questions. So this doesn't mean if they forgot to answer a question. This means if they answered incorrectly, can they see the missed questions in the review once they've completed the test? I usually leave that to yes. Correct answers, I turn that one off personally. And what this allows them to do is see what the correct answer was immediately after the test. That can be a good thing, but if there's a person sitting right beside them and is able to see the computer, they may get the answers, or may kind of compel them a little more discussion in the class before every student finishes. I usually turn that off and save that for the review. Finally, we've got point values, and this is to show the total points and points received for each question. Up to you. I usually leave that one on. We'll click save. It's saving right now. You can see that up in the top left. And now we just close that window down. And we are good to go. We'll just click assign. Now we could also select schedule or save draft. So if this were a quiz that we didn't want the students to see until tomorrow, we can actually schedule when that's going to be ready to go. If you don't know when you're going to release it, just click Save Draft. And let's just do that right now. If we save the draft, we close that down, they can't actually see that quiz. It remains hidden, which is quite handy. So we'll click on that. We'll click Edit Assignment, and now we'll assign this as classwork. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go into one of my other classes where I did run a test or a test quiz with them just to show you what the results look like. So we'll click on this, only a test. There's the instructions. You don't need to see it. It's very similar to the previous quiz. There's student work, and you can see that I've already graded them except for a few. And so the grading actually happens automatically. And I'll just click on the import grades up here. So this is going to be for the 3 students who I have not already imported grades for. So what happened was most of the students wrote the quiz. I imported the grades, but a few hadn't completed it yet. They've now completed it. So if I click on import grades, it should pull the last few remaining students in here. Let's click import and see what happens. And it should fill in missing marks. There we go. So we can see everybody's got a mark in there on the left-hand side now. Now, interestingly, if we want to see the grades, let me just show you what happens if we download this. I'll just download it as a CSV. And if I open this file up, it does show marks that have already been returned to students. But it doesn't show them all. And in fact, we can only see 3 grades here. But if we go back here, you can see that the grades show up for most of the students. What's going on here? Well, what we need to actually do, we'll just select all students, is we need to return them. So once we've returned all the grades to the students, then if we download these marks as a CSV, or you can also copy them to a Google Sheet, doesn't really matter, either is fine. If we open this up, aha, look at that, we can see all of our marks now in that mark column. It's a little bit messy. Let's just shift things over a little bit, and you can see that it shows which are returned, which have not been completed, and it would also, in the last example had I pointed it out, showing which had not yet been returned. Okay, so this is really handy because you can simply copy and paste these grades into a spreadsheet, and you've basically got an instant way to get things graded. Okay, I hope that helps. That's Google Quizzes. Over and out.